Welcome to Whiskey Man Reviews. I'm Eric.
I'm Josh.
Four Roses single barrel strength. If you're a Four Roses fan, is the barrel strength version something that you need to be seeking out? We're going to give you our thoughts on it and let you know what we think.
So let's drink on that.
Okay, Josh, we've got the Four Roses single barrel strength version of it. Now, the Four Roses single barrel, we're no strangers to Four Roses products. What are our thoughts on those?
You know, I've been a pretty big fan of Four Roses for a while. It's been a while since I've had any, to be honest. I've not really had too much lately, but you know, in the past, single barrel, especially the small batch select as well, both are very, very good products. So I'm excited to get in here and try the barrel strength of this.
Yeah, Four Roses, love them. People often ask me at different levels. I've recently had my uncle, who's a Scotch drinker, say, "Hey, what kind of bourbons do I need to buy to make my collection a little better?" I'm like, "Well, Four Roses." But what Four Roses? People that are maybe just starting to drink bourbon, they're like, "Oh, what's something I should get?" I'm like, "Well, Four Roses." But what kind of Four Roses? So people starting off, the Four Roses small batch, excellent bourbon that you can get for like at Kroger. I think you can get that thing for like $29.99. I think that was on my 30 and under video. So you can't beat that. No. Four Roses small batch for $30. Their single barrel, I think, comes in around 40 or so. Where else do you get a single barrel for that price? Excellent. But then I think my favorite product of theirs, which one is it?
The small batch select.
The small batch select, and we refer to it all the time, but I'm not sure there's a better bang for your buck bourbon out there. $55 normally. I mean, it's a lot of money if you're not really into whiskey, but blows me away.
Yeah,
one of my favorite bourbons. And always readily available, especially, well, here in Kentucky it is. But Four Roses, they like to complicate things. They're always throwing letters on stuff. OBSV, I think, is their single barrel. This is the barrel strength OESO. It says specially selected by Brent Elliott, the master distiller. Now, again, I don't know much about the letters, but what I do know is that O is the yeast strand for this one, and it comes from the E mash bill. And then the other OS just signifies that it is from Four Roses. I think this mash bill makes up like 15% of their small batch is what they said, and noted to be anywhere from 5 to 6 years old. Proof, what do we got on this?
Yeah, it's 54.2%, so 108 and a half-ish. You know, another thing that I really want to kind of touch on while I got this, one of my absolute favorite bottles out there. I love the single barrel Four Roses bottle.
Yeah.
With the, you know, raised texture roses on the front. Really like the shape of the bottle. It's pretty unique. It's easy to identify. Plus you get this cool little leather strap around the top. Packaging for me on this bottle is A+.
Yeah, one of the best bottles in the bourbon game for sure. And again, not that pricey to get. I know, like, I guess back in the day, Four Roses used to be like that turn up your nose at kind of bourbon, but they've really, in the last couple decades, really elevated themselves from what I've heard and the research that I've done. Four Roses, nothing to turn down. It's
absolutely.
Excellent.
And you know, that's whenever you mention that, you know, we've toured this one as well, and they own that. You know, whenever we did the tour there, they fully owned, you know, not necessarily having the best reputation in the past, but really working and striving to get past that, put out quality products, and you know, I think their work speaks for itself on that.
Yeah, Excellent stuff. And beautiful place. They've got a new visitor center up there. If you can ever find your way to Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, stop by there. Stop by Wild Turkey. Drive down the road, see Woodford. They're all right there together. Such a beautiful area. So definitely check them out if you're in the area. This mash bill, or this OESO specifically, this is the one that they note as being kind of a rich fruit. It uses the least amount of rye of anything they do, I think, and that's at like 20% rye, so it's 75% corn. So I'm interested to see what this is going to be. And they've built it, molded it in a way that it's supposed to be, like they said, rich fruity, because I know that single barrel that you get, you do get those fruity notes, but I wouldn't call it rich fruit. So I'm interested to see what this is.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, I need more than that. Come on.
And I think just outside of like their yellow label, like $15 bourbon, Four Roses, probably overall just one of my favorites. As far as readily available stuff, Four Roses, Woodford, they're both up there for me. Right. Let's get a nose on this thing. That is a beautiful nose.
Yeah, it's very rich.
It is. Rich fruit, huh?
Yeah. I didn't even think of that, so...
Yeah.
I'll pretend like I did, so...
It's definitely fruity. Kind of appley, and not even green apples that you typically get with a lot of this stuff. It's just... It's kind of got that thing going on with it there.
Yeah, somewhere in that family for sure. Some, kind of apple-ish, maybe pear,
Yeah. Some vanilla.
Yes.
The oak is very present.
I definitely get the vanilla.
It's almost like a baked apple pie, like in liquid form, kind of, or some kind of like baked dessert.
I could see that for sure. It's like I said, it's very it's a very rich, complex. There's a lot of notes there. It's not clashing. Mm-hmm. It all just comes together very nicely.
Very like fresh, like kind of like evergreen tree kind of fresh. Vanilla, maybe a hint of cherry in there. But yeah, the oak's very forward. You can definitely tell this thing was aged more than just the standard time it would take to call this a bourbon and get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's a bit more complex than that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's got a lot going on, but it all comes together very nicely. It works well together. That's just a very pleasant, just full scented nose.
And I can't stop smiling because I'm so excited to get into this thing. Now, the barrel strength, not cheap if you can come by it. I got this actually from the distillery, and it's up there. I don't recall exactly, but I think it's around $80. So not cheap.
Yeah, that's not cheap. And I think, a lot of times, you kind of touched on it earlier, a lot of times anymore, even finding their small batch select is $55, $60 range. So seems kind of on par for their, price progression, through their different tiers of products. It is high, but...
Yeah, significantly higher than the other stuff. Everything else is so reasonable.
Yeah.
So, and I hold in high regard. So for them to be slapping that price on this, I think it's going to be pretty good, and I'm dying to get into it. So you ready?
Yeah, let's go. That's nice.
That's good.
That is nice.
That is good. I'm going to hold off on a second to kind of get another drink here, because that one just kind of got my mouth in shock a little bit. What did you say the proof on this was?
I believe it was 108. Yeah, it's 54.2% alcohol. So, like I said, 108.5-ish.
You could tell me it was up around 115, 120. I'd probably believe you.
Yeah, that was probably going to be my next comment, to be honest. It's, it could definitely fool you into thinking it was a little higher proof, which for us is a good thing.
That is good. I get kind of like a hint of like cherry that goes in an old fashioned. Like,
that was the flavor profile that I was going to pick out. I get, cherry. pretty heavy on it. Maybe
Yep.
kind of like honey a little bit on the
Absolutely.
taste.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, that is good.
That is really good. Now, I think that even this OESO is not. I know people get hyped up over all the barrel strengths, but from like some people I talk to, this isn't the one that they all go crazy over. I know like a lot of them like try to seek out the OESK and like a couple of other ones like that. I think they've got like 10 of them. This is, I think, number 8 is what they list at on their website. But if it gets better than this, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, randomly at their distillery, if you're ever in the area, try to keep up with what's going on, because sometimes they randomly drop these on different days throughout the week, but sometimes they'll throw in like a 12-year, a 16-year. Like as I said, once the gift shop opened, I got this 20-year-old in the commemorative box. It's in the middle up here between these maker's marks. I can't even imagine what that thing's like. I'm afraid to open it, but I need to, because gosh, it's got to be good.
Yeah.
But just back to this, I love Four Roses.
Yeah, this is so good. It's got like a little bit of a like slow burn to it. Nothing overwhelming for me, but it sits. It kind of lingers around a little bit. But initially on upon drinking this, you do get those flavors, and I mean they are prominent. They work together. They taste great. But I'm also getting some pop to it, like heat. Just initially, it's kind of there and gone.
Yeah.
But it's impressive for me for something to have those kind of flavors, as well as that initial pop like that, and not get overwhelmed by having that pop. A lot of the times, it seems like that kind of overshadows the flavor profile. You don't really get the notes as well because it, kind of just overshadows it. But, I don't get that at all with this. It tastes great. It's got everything that you would want in a bourbon.
Absolutely. I've been sitting here just kind of taking in what you're saying, and I've not taken another drink for a good little bit here, and it just feels so good. Like, It's still warm. I feel it there. I still got some flavor profile. This thing sticks around. And as far as the rich fruit, we're right on with that, because it's got that, as I said, like that kind of cherry, almost kind of a berry kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like that kind of fruit, which is interesting coming from a bourbon, because normally it's kind of more like the dry fruits, the plums, the kind of like darker apple taste that you would get, plums, pears, like that kind of thing. But this is a rich fruit, as they say.
It is.
As far as ratings, what we've done so far, whether this would fall in line, which isn't fair to think about it that way, because the other one's not sitting here in front of me. But I think back to that Old Forester single barrel strength, and I think you and I, like, as soon as they hit us with a barrel strength, which this is significantly lower than that, like, our thoughts are already elevated. So I think, though, that if this were at a higher alcohol volume, that it would take away from it.
It would.
Which normally I wouldn't say.
I'm with you. Like I was saying earlier, just everything in this works so well together.
I need more.
We're getting a second pour on this one.
It's just articulated. It's well thought out. Like, everything about it was done for a reason.
It's even got such a great mouthfeel to it.
Yeah. It's silky.
Yeah.
It's not real dense, but it's there, and it's a good experience all around.
I completely agree.
Beautiful color as well. Four Roses, you got it going on. All right, so I'm going to read what Mr. Elliott left us here on the side of the bottle. It says, specially selected by Brent Elliott, the master distiller. Ripe cherry and caramel aromas introduce the mouth-coating flavors of this 9-year, 6-month-old bourbon. Whoa! I was wrong on that.
9-year, 6-month-old.
So I guess the single barrel itself is 5 to 6 years. Maybe I should read the side of this thing before we do this, but I saw it had tasting notes, so I didn't want to read it. The finish of red fruits, light oak, and vanilla is rich and long.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This guy knows what he's doing.
He does. He has completely nailed this product.
So 20% rye mash bill / rich fruit. This one was bottled in September of 22. So
Okay.
she's not been in the bottle very long and probably not going to be in there much longer. Okay, so we've talked about this a bit, kind of pondered on our own, daydreamed, drank a little more. Josh poured some more. I poured some more before we cut away. Let me jot down my score. Josh is jotting his down. We're typically within 2/10 of each other, so we'll see if the trend holds up.
This is unprecedented score range for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're that high.
I'm high, like way up there, dude. Because it gives me everything that I want in a bourbon.
Yeah, so you're going to be higher than me, I think, and that's normal. I'm typically lower than you, so that's good.
Yeah.
That we stay consistent. But I'm way up there. So without further ado, okay. So for me, what do you got? 8-9 and 9-1. We're within 2/10 again.
There we go. My first, whenever I first wrote it down, I was 8-9. I shit you not. But the more I thought about it, man, I was just like, I cannot possibly think of how much like better something else could be than that.
Josh, final thoughts?
Like I said, it's great. Everything in this comes together perfectly, and yeah, it's just you need to go get a bottle of this.
Absolutely, this is something you seek out. The price is high. I think it's worth it to at least have a bottle in your collection if you have a collection. If it's not really your thing to buy kind of expensive bottles, maybe this is one you steer clear of and go back down to some of the other Four Roses that are more affordable. But this is great. Nothing else for me, Josh?
Yep, that's it.
All right. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Please comment. Let us know what you think about it. Again, if you think we're crazy or if you think maybe we're too low. Could be higher, right? All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. See ya.
Woo! That's nice.
That is so good.
Arra-pa-pa-pa.
In there like swimwear, my guy.
What?